Waiting for this light to turn green. I'm headed to work for a boss so mean. I'm gonna be late. She's gonna be...
There are some things we should do alone, like sing in your car.
If this light doesn't turn, I'm gonna scream.
But when you gamble, you should always do it with others, because gambling with friends helps keep things in check. So go to keepitfunohio.com for more tips like this. Keep it fun, keep it social, but your singing? Maybe keep that to yourself.
Introducing Under Armour's Infinity High Sports Bra. Its ergonomic design is molded to support the natural movement of your body. With cord-out padding, the better breathability eliminates extra bulk without sacrificing support. And quick-dry padding is Under Armour's fastest-drying padding yet. When you're lifting heavy, running fast, and pushing yourself further than ever before, you need a bra that will help you go that extra mile and make you feel your best. Shop the Infinity High Sports Bra now at UA.com.
You're listening to a Countout Podcast. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Ring Post Radio. If you're listening to this, it is Monday. If you're listening to this when it comes out, I guess it is Monday. You know, you're stretching out. You're at the gym or whatever. On your Memorial Day, you're at the barbecue, doing your own thing. We are Ring Post Radio, and we're coming at you with our live Double or Nothing AEW All Elite Wrestling Double or Nothing reactions. The pay-per-view just ended maybe 10 minutes ago. It is nearly 1 in the morning for both of us, and we are ready to give you that sweet, sweet Ring Post Radio that you know you love. You know it. It's deep in your heart, and you know it, and we're going to help you excavate it. I am lead excavator Ryan Knightsey. With me is my assistant, Scotty Edwards. Scotty, how are you doing?
Assistant? Whoa, whoa. Hey now.
Hey now.
Oh wow, big news for Kazuchika Okada. He's having a kid.
Oh. Congratulations.
That's
Is the
cool.
kid going to show up at Forbidden Door or
Maybe he'll show up sooner than anyone else from New Japan Pro Wrestling. I'm tired.
I can't wait to see Kazuchika Okada's kid against Pentagon's kid.
I know. There's a lot to talk about, obviously, because we just watched the longest pay-per-view in history of wrestling. Well, that's not true. WrestleMania's existed for a few years there that just never ended. But
I never felt like a WrestleMania ended at 1 in the morning.
No, they ended at like 12, but the problem was they started at like 5. So
that's true.
That was the problem.
That's
this
true.
one ended at 1 in the morning, obviously. And we got a lot to talk about because, man, it definitely wasn't AEW's greatest effort of all time. For a while there, I was regretting watching the show, which isn't what you want out of a pay-per-view, honestly. There was a lot of bad. Of bad.
I don't know if it wasn't necessarily so Double or Nothing. First half
there was
of the
some
show,
bad.
there was a lot of okays. There were a lot of fine. No matter
a lot of
what,
things saved.
A lot of things saved. There, no matter what way you slice it, there's a lot of things that had no reason being on this pay-per-view. No reason being like this is a AEW pay-per-view. We get 4 of these a year. There is no reason we're getting this kind of crap on our pay-per-view. I was about to come on here and be like, this is the worst pay-per-view AEW's ever had. And
I was prepared to do the same.
Definitely, it got a lot better in the second half. It started ramping up, and the last 3 matches I thought were freaking-tastic. 3 back-to-back-to-back barn burners. But it took a while to get there. It took 10 matches to get there, Scotty.
It's funny. They saved the 3 matches I was looking forward to the most for the final 3 matches of the night. And that creeped into my brain once. I was like, oh, he really was going to wait till the end of the basketball game for all these things to happen.
Yeah.
That's very cruel of you, Tony Khan. Very cruel. Actually, let's never do that again, please.
So
I was prepared to call this the worst AEW pay-per-view of all time, and then the last 3 matches. Or you know what? I want to give credit where credit's due. Their last 5 matches, last 5 matches were like, okay, so this is an AEW pay-per-view now, which
I would agree with that.
Cool. But almost everything before that stunk, was just okay, or was very lukewarm feeling. Mm-hmm. A lot of complaints, obviously. Then we're going to start off with those because I feel it's best to end the pay-per-view. Well, true. End the pay-per-view and show on a good note, because there was good in the end, and my brain is still trying to marinate some of those thoughts.
That's fair. Fair.
And it's also fair that the semi-main event still pissed me off in one way. So it's like
we'll trudge through the mud and get to to the glory at the end.
It's the mud that brings out the best content.
It's maybe not mud, but we're gonna trudge through the coal mine so we can eventually find that diamond.
It's or
a couple times.
Nice about mud.
But this was mud wrestling after all. So I was gonna say, it sounds like you weren't completely favorable about the show. I wasn't really. I mean, like we said, the final matches were kind of where that was the bread and butter. It was kind of very
saved the show.
So I also, you brought up the point about like the Game 7 NBA thing.
Yeah,
I don't get what the hell big deal about that is. I get that like there's many people like watching the NBA game. But there's also going to be people that are going to be spending $50 twice for Bleacher Report to watch AEW. Like, there's a financial investment in that versus NBA, which is just my time.
Either people were not buying it or they're buying it.
Yeah,
plain and simple.
I don't get if they're not buying it, and also if they're buying it, they're getting the full stream. They can watch it later.
Right.
I don't get why it's like we have to save all the better matches to later, and also like why publicly say that. I feel like that's a terrible thing for your roster members to be like, oh, I guess my match didn't matter because it was at the top. I don't understand why that was a thing. I never understood that concept, because it's like, why does this fucking matter? Who cares? They'll have the pay-per-view forever as long as Bleacher Report lives, which who the heck knows at this point. What's the point? Why are we doing this?
I want to give credit to the fans because that's a long time sitting there. It's a very long time sitting there, and they did get tired and quiet for a while. But to be fair, the matches that they were quiet and tired for weren't very good, so it was okay. They had 3 matches to wake up for, and they did. And I think that really kind of helps the card, because when you first turn on the show, you're like, oh shit, this crowd's great. This crowd's hot. This crowd's going to be great all night long. It was hard to ask them to be great all night long, obviously, but we will get to what was a very, very much up and down show. Not the best AEW pay-per-view of all time, obviously. I don't think it's the worst, but it's definitely on the lower end.
What was the worst? I'm trying to think.
All Out with MJF versus Jon Moxley in the main event.
Okay, I'm gonna look up that.
I don't even need to know what was on the rest of the card. I just remember that show being very.
I want to say that was 2020.
Yes, it was definitely with no fans.
Jon Moxley, MJF. Yeah, okay, ready? So this is the card for that All Out, and let's see if
pretty good that I just set it off the fucking.
Cage Match has it at 5.87.
I nailed it. I'm so smart.
It's pretty bad. Starting off the tooth and nail match, Big Swole defeats Britt Baker.
That was bad.
Young Bucks versus Jurassic Express.
Oh my god,
I don't even remember that. The Casino Battle Royale with Lance Archer winning.
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh,
Matt Hardy versus Sammy Guevara. The
match where he like died and then kept wrestling. Yep.
No, was it that match, or was it the Broken Rules match, which was the Hardy?
This
compound?
Is the Broken Rules match.
Oh, I thought they were two different things.
I don't remember what the Hardy compound match was. I think that was a tag team match. I don't know.
Was that like the Elite Deletion? Maybe that's what it was called. Sheeta versus Thunder Rosa.
Yeah, because Okay, the Broken Rules match was the last. Just continue.
Sheeta versus Thunder Rosa for the women's title.
It was okay.
Dustin Rhodes, QT Marshall, Scorpio Sky, and Matt Cardona versus Colt Cabana and the Dark Order.
All right. I'm feeling pretty right about this.
FTR versus Adam Page and Kenny Omega.
That match wasn't as good as it should have been.
Mimosa Mayhem match. Orange Cassidy versus Chris Jericho. And then John Moxley
nailed it.
versus
That was
Wardlow,
the worst pay-per-view in AEW history. And it will not be replaced by this one.
I think it's going to challenge it. I think it could potentially challenge it. I don't think
it's definitely going to challenge it, but I don't remember a single match from that All Out pay-per-view where I was like, wow, that was great.
Mm-hmm.
I have that here.
Yeah, that's fair.
The highs
just happened, to be fair.
Well, yeah, but like there was enough surprises. I don't remember anything from that All Out show. Mm-hmm. I'll remember some surprises from this. But let's talk about it, because maybe by the end I'll say, oh yeah, this was the worst show. Maybe I'll say that by the end.
Oh yeah. And by the way, as well, folks, you probably know about it in the morning when you wake up while you're listening to the episode, but I'm also gonna be following Twitter, Scotty, just to let you know that just in case I see anything for the post media scrums and stuff. I did see that after Punk gave a speech after the show went off the air, and FTR came out and celebrated with him.
I did see that. That's cool.
So it was very nice.
Spoiler alert, CM Punk won.
Spoiler. Oh, God. God, if you're listening to this, what are you doing? Okay, so let's start off our Double or Nothing live reaction here, Scotty, with, of course, the ever-loved Hookhausen, the buy-in show, Hookhausen versus Smart Mark Sterling and Tony Nese.
This was the first match where I was like, why is this on? I know it's not on the pay-per-view, but like, why? This is Rampage all over it. That's what this is. It's not even Dynamite. It's Rampage all over it.
My reaction to it was similar, but it was like, well, it's the buy-in.
Right. Sure. But now that I'm sitting here thinking about it, I'm like, damn, there was a lot of matches on the show that did not need to be on pay-per-view at all. And this is certainly one of them, even if it wasn't. This was the match that was supposed to sell you on a pay-per-view.
That's true. That is true. That is something that Tony Khan has said before, is that we want to have matches that will sell the pay-per-view to you.
And not sell the pay-per-view correctly.
I mean, to be fair, at this point in time, people who already purchased the pay-per-view were repurchasing it. So
that's true.
In some ways, it did sell pay-per-view buys or whatever.
This was an interesting night overall, because you saw like all the AEW like diehard defenders be like, shit. Like, can't win. I can't do this one. Like, you couldn't defend half of this show.
The build to the show and then the show itself very much feels like a changing of the guard in a lot of ways.
Yeah. You know what's funny? I saw someone say, how do you put on such a bad show with the roster that you have? And my answer was, you crowded them all into like 4 matches. You crowded the best of your best roster into 4 matches. You put like that anarchy in the arena. You had almost all your best talents on one team, but like in the same match. Like, I should be getting a Bryan Danielson singles match. No offense, but like, that's what I want to see. That's what I want to see. Thank God the next pay-per-view is Forbidden Door. I think that's going to be that nice palate cleanser. I saw some people mad with a lot of things, which we'll get to, but let's continue. Hookhausen, that was fine. Way to heat up the crowd. People love Hook. Yeah.
Is a good way
I love Hook.
People love Hook. People love Danhausen. You can't deny.
I don't love Danhausen.
I know you don't,
but people do love Danhausen. I can admit that people do love him. I can also admit that I don't get it. Oh, God.
My cats are freaking out.
There's a ghost. All right. Let's start with the real show now.
Well, I was going to say that this match was completely serviceable, kind of fun. There was a point in time where Tony Nese was afraid of Hook tagging in and then went to Smart Mark Sterling, and Smart Mark ran away. Why is Tony Nese afraid of Hook? The whole thing was that he wanted to fight Hook and wrestle Hook and show that he was a premier athlete. Why is he afraid of him all of a sudden? I didn't like that.
I'm afraid of Hook.
I guess that's fair. He's afraid of his hair. I should probably check downstairs. But I'm going to set you up for this because I know you have a lot of thoughts about the opening of the show, which of course was MJF versus Wardlow. MJF did show up. It was confirmed that he was in the building. He showed up late to the building, but he eventually did show up.
There's a lot of ways to go here now that we have what we have.
He was late coming out to the ring. He did come out to the ring. It was a lot of MJF kind of avoiding punishment, but as soon as Wardlow got him, it was 10 power bombs, and that was it. That was the match. And then MJF went out stretcher style. The oxygen mask, not necessarily used correctly, but MJF then went out stretcher style. So, Scotty, a lot to unpack from this match specifically.
Yeah.
What do you think about this match? And then also, what do you think about the future of MJF in this company?
Okay. Starting with the match itself, it was a matter of how are they going to book this? Because the way they've created Wardlow is that they've not only had him destroy his opponents, but he's destroyed monsters. So how is MJF going to get even? How is MJF going to make that work? Obviously, the show was kind of derailed by the news of MJF, I think. And obviously, starting with this match, it was just kind of like an awkward feeling also because, you're just sitting there the whole time, right? And you're wondering, oh, okay, so this is happening. And what is going to happen? And you get to the match and he's hiding, running away a lot. And then once he finally gets in the hands of Wardlow, it's fucking over. It's over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 power bombs, over. That's it. You had the little fun with the ring and you had the fun with him trying to sell the leg and blah, 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 blah. But ultimately, this match was 10 power bombs and over. And it's weird because obviously you make you make Wardlow a star with this performance, obviously. And you do book yourself into a situation that I'll get to in a second. But with booking Wardlow that way, and with the uncertainty going into this match, and kind of putting a cloud over this show from the get-go, I think, with starting with this match, you just kind of have a weird feeling in the arena. I think I had a weird feeling watching this show because of how the match went ultimately. It's like MJF pretty much got squashed. He got squashed without getting squashed. And it makes sense because, like I said, the way you built up Wardlow was having him beat monsters, not just beating regular wrestlers. He's beating monsters. So it's almost how you had to do it. But now, if MJF stays in this company, which we don't know what's going to happen. We have no clue, especially after the way this match ended. I feel like we have more questions now than we had before. I don't know what's going to happen because now that we have a new world champion, it feels like the obvious successor is the guy that wants to leave, right? Like that's kind of how I'm feeling now. And it's like, all right, so we have to answer that question, obviously. But now you have to answer the question of you have made this red hot, white hot, whatever color you prefer, babyface that people love, absolutely love. He's an absolute monster. How are you going to book him now? You're just going to keep doing squash matches? We've done that for 2 years. We've done that. Now it's Wardlow's on to the next step. He squashed MJF, a guy that was a main eventer for your company, a guy that brought CM Punk to the limit multiple times. Who is now your world champion? What do you do with Wardlow? That question is as big as the MJF question because you got to answer these questions right. You have a guy that is red hot like Batista was once upon a time. He feels like the animal. He feels like the beast. You got to answer these questions. Those are my questions because MJF, lots of questions there. Wardlow, lots of questions there. But I do want to give credit to MJF. I know a lot of people wanted to, shit on him and whatnot. We talked about it earlier on the original episode, obviously, that people should still listen to. Very professional to go out there and do that. I think that could be lost. Not only did he go out there, but he did the business. He got destroyed. And if he isn't in AEW in next week, which some people actually believe, then credit to him. But I think he's going to stick around. I think he is an obvious answer to a guy that might beat CM Punk. It's going to be entertaining. I think it's really exciting. Like, this match was executed nearly perfectly. I thought it couldn't have went better, but starting with it did kind of leave a dark cloud over the rest of the show, but it was going to leave a dark cloud over the show no matter what.
Yeah, no, it's definitely very interesting. I'm MJF is, to me, the most interesting aspect of it, because I completely agree, and everyone's been thinking the exact same thing, that he has always been a future world champion, and a lot of people pegged him as the guy that could beat Page. And I don't know if that's upsetting some people right now, maybe, but you and I discussed it, that of like, you know, if Punk's going to win, another guy that can beat Punk is MJF. So down the line, that is something that they can still do. That is something that they can still play. Sean Ross Sapp is reporting, saying that MJF claimed to Fightful that he showed up shortly before his match, left right after, and, quote, has a lot to think about. So who the heck knows? It's MJF. So I don't know. You know, I think what I'm excited about is it's MJF. You have to remember that everything he has ever done, practically everything he's ever done,
worked.
You can probably point to like one or two things that are not work, but practically every single thing he does has worked. I'm sure MJF talking to Sean Ross Sapp, there is a work element to it all. So, you know, that whether or not a flight was actually taken, he left shortly after, and all this other stuff, you know, I think there's truth to it, but I also think it's like, it's MJF, so he's going to play it up a little bit more for the camera, right, as it were. Wardlow. Now, I don't think this was as much of a star-making performance as like the steel cage match or something, because in this match, he utterly decimated a star in the company, but what that star was doing was not really much of anything, kind of just like running around, and then went for a ring in a very silly spot, and then got powerbombed 10 times.
But again, he's the guy that brought your world champion to the limit 2 weeks ago and was going to win. Not 2 weeks ago, 2 months ago. And if he was going to win, if there wasn't a ring given to him by Wardlow.
That's true, and that's true. And I'm just saying that I think what will really define whether or not this was a star-making performance is what happens next.
Yeah, that's why it's the biggest question.
Yeah, I guess that is definitely true.
How do you handle Wardlow now?
I mean, hey, the TNT title picture needs some
The answer is you have him destroy Scorpio Sky and go on a run. That's what you do. No offense, Scorpio Sky. But
there's also other aspects to the MJF stuff that we never talked about, is that, like, you know, because MJF is on the stretcher, so no matter what, he's going to be gone for a bit, right?
Yeah.
FTR say they're still in the Pinnacle. They're all still in the Pinnacle, but they've said in the interview that they are, but they're just doing their own thing right now. So I don't know what the hell is happening with that. And then you got Shawn Spears, who does a really good job in the role he has. So who kind of is also hurt through this all MJF situation. So very intriguing, very interesting to see what happens. You know, you can do Wardlow versus Shawn Spears, but who cares? You can do Wardlow versus, I don't know. I mean, just put him into the TNT title picture for a little bit. I don't really know.
I don't know what you do. That's the whole thing.
I'm really intrigued. Really, what it comes down to is I'm really
strapping him to the world title. Absolutely not.
No, not anytime soon.
I don't think we call him a star. We call him, you know, this monster, but at the same time, I don't think he's ready or needs to be in that spot right now. You have so many other main eventers.
Yeah, and that's also partly why I push back on the word star, because it is like, well, if he's a star, then we should be giving him titles, right?
Well, it's weird in AEW, I think, more than like if you had a Wardlow like this built this way in WWE, he would be going for a world title.
Yes,
he would be. We saw it with like someone like a Ryback, and I know I'm not comparing them as like wrestlers or people, but like he got built, he got white hot, and then he, you know, got pushed to the moon, kind of. And then he had world title matches against CM Punk. So it's kind of like that situation. It's like different companies, so it's weird. We haven't seen AEW have this situation yet, so we kind of got to wait and see.
Oh yeah, very intrigued. CM Punk is currently at the press conference, so I'll see if there's any sort of fun stuff. So we'll see what happens from that. Next up, Hardy Boys versus the Young Bucks, Elite versus Delete. Oh man, the Hardy Boys cannot go. Jeff Hardy cannot go. No one knows what was happening. Was the man injured? Was the man
concussed? Maybe?
Concussed? I don't know. As soon as the match ended, he was moving around a lot, so I don't know what was happening.
And he ran away.
He ran away and then came back, and he was moving on and jiving all over the place.
There's a lot of thoughts on that one.
I don't want to.
They're all the same. I
don't want to see this match again. What I just saw was, you know, if you want to look up them fighting in their prime, that would have been. Well, I mean, not the Hardy Boys prime, but if you want to see them fighting more in their prime, then you would have just, you know, check out Ring of Honor in like 2017. Yeah. Here in 2022, 5 years later, they're completely different people, and we just saw the Young Bucks carry two 50-year-olds to a match that was not that good. It's probably one of the worst Young Bucks matches I've seen. It was the
worst, like, legitimate Young Bucks match, because like you see like the matches on TV that are minimal, like the one that they faced Taylor Rust and John Cruz. That's not a match that counts. Like, this is a legitimate match with seriousness, and it's probably the worst one I've ever seen. When Matt Hardy's your most competent guy on the team at one point, you're in trouble. And that's not a shot at Matt Hardy. It's just his body's broken down. These two have done a lot, obviously, in their careers. They've done a lot. They've broken down. Jeff Hardy's body's probably not doing too well from that Darby Allin match a few weeks ago. I really don't think so. Because, I mean, the Adam Cole match was seconds? He did nothing in it. And then this was just a mess that was saved by the Young Bucks. And it wasn't really saved. It was so bad. It was, again, the worst Young Bucks match you'll see. Saved by Jeff Hardy doing one stupid thing, which is the swanton on the steel steps. And they won. That has to be the worst part, Ryan, is they won.
They did win.
Like, the Hardys are getting pushed. They might beat Jurassic Express. I'm hoping not, but they might.
I don't know what TK's thinking over here, man. I don't understand what TK's thinking.
I said that a few times this show.
Yeah.
This was the first.
Yeah, he just didn't look good. Jeff Hardy did not look good in this match. Matt
Hardy.
It
was embarrassing, man.
It was embarrassing to watch, and it kind of what I was talking about. I was like, changing the guard is just like, I don't understand what we're doing here. Why are we pushing these kind of guys? It's like these aren't guys. The Hardy Boys shouldn't be people beating some of your best tag teams in your company. You know, they can beat a top flight, you know, who are not big names. They can beat a Gun Club easily. They can beat, I don't know, but they shouldn't beat Young Bucks. They shouldn't beat FTR.
Funny part is I'd be like, oh, they could beat Jurassic Express. I don't give a shit about them, but they're the freaking champions. So no, they can't.
So the fact that we're sitting here today and they're like, we just watched an abysmal match between these four guys. And the Young Bucks lost. Hardy Boys won, and they have going up the leaderboards. As it
were. What's bad?
What's bad?
I didn't think this is the worst match on the show. I have a dud out here. I got a dud out here.
Oh, you got the dreadful.
I got a dud, and I got a other match that was really, really bad. That I have two matches below this one.
This tied the worst match.
Nope, I actually have three.
This tied my worst match. But let's keep it going because I don't really want to talk about it much longer. It was just
we're at my dud.
Well, we did get a hype video of the Acclaimed and the Ass Boys getting drunk in Las Vegas. That was fun to have on my pay-per-view.
Yeah, I'm so happy I had to waste my time with that. That was great.
I was so unironically angry about seeing that because I was just like, this is a fun video, but I not want to see it on my pay-per-view after seeing 2 shite matches. And then going into the next match, which of course
got worse.
Anna Jay versus Jade Cargill for the AEW TBS Championship.
Match fucking sucked. Like, I thought this was horrible. It was so unengaging, and it was probably from my anger from the last match, truthfully. Mm-hmm. But it was so unengaging. It was so uninteresting. It was so the flow was not there. There was no flow. It was just sporadic moves. Anna Jay doing her like spinning kick that never hits. Saved by post-match stuff. Like, everyone was like, oh, the shitty match is saved because Stokely Hathaway showed up and Athena showed up just to do a stare down. And I'm like, no, the match was terrible. The match was bad. The match was very bad. And it's matches like these where I'm like, it's funny. This is the funniest part. This is you're gonna get a crack out of this. I'm like, Athena's right there on the free agency market. What are you doing? Why are we having these matches on your pay-per-view? I've already seen this match. And not only are you making me see it again, but it's somehow worse than the first time they wrestled. It just had no flow. It was bad. I don't want to see it again. Chris Statlander got the biggest.
So let's get to that part. So the match ends. Jade Cargill wins. Well, hold on, Mark. So okay, hold on. I have to start because there was 12 billion run-ins during this match. So during the match, at some point, Anna Jay is on the outside. The baddie section comes over. Kiera Hogan and Red Velvet come out. You know, they do some stuff. Anna Jay fights them off. Then Anna Jay and Jade Cargill back in the ring. Mark Sterling limps out to the ring. He jumps up, clearly kind of throws it to Anna Jay, just does a shitty job. Anna Jay hits Jade Cargill with it, and you know that's that. Oh no, she uses it as a Russian leg sweep.
It was a mess.
To get Sterling out, John Silver now comes out for some fucking reason.
You're adding to my reasons of how bad this was.
It's a hat on a hat on a hat. This is way too much. If you're writing something in like comedy or anything else like that, you don't do this many things because it's called a hat on a hat because it just gets too complicated, too involved, unnecessary. So now John Silver comes out. He runs off Mark Sterling. And then Jade Cargill goes up to the top rope. And then, you know, saving grace here, Scotty, saving grace. Stokely Hathaway comes out.
Exactly.
And
I got amped.
And joins AEW. Super amped. I'm now super into it, this match. I'm like, all right, here we go. Stokely Hathaway. He's great. He's in the promotion. Everybody wanted Stokely with Jade Cargill. He's going to do a great job with her in the baddies.
It's even
section.
better, though. I was going to say he's with the baddies.
He's with the baddies. More importantly,
just imagine the promos, man.
More importantly, he's with the baddies. And I'm excited for that.
I just hope he shouts out Xia Li.
Oh, yeah. And then I hope he shouts out what was Xia Li's creepy monster witch leader character? No, that was not Xia Li. Who was that? Karen Q.
That was Wendy Chu.
Yes, Karen Q, Wendy Chu. Whatever the.
All right, we're off topic.
Anyways, so Jade Cargill gets the win. Avalanche jaded, and then post match, Chris Statlander comes out. Biggest pop of the entire match. Everyone excited to see that match, and I'm sitting here thinking, why wasn't this on the pay-per-view? The fuck was this not on the show?
I think it's because Chris has to beat her. Chris feels like the only person that should beat her at this point.
Then do the match here. It feels like they needed someone to be into the tournament, so they just gave it to Chris.
But
but they clearly were wanting to do this match instead. What the fuck are we doing? Like, just pick another wrestler. Pick someone that was in one of the qualifiers to be a replacement. Why is Chris Statlander, who you're presumably, as we all think, you're taking away from this match? Why do we do that? Insane. So then Chris Statlander comes out and she does nothing. Chris Statlander does nothing because you know who comes out after that? Another debut, 1 minute after the previous debut, Scotty, is Athena, former Ember Moon from WWE. Athena comes out. They all, yell at each other back and forth. Half the way gets the baddies out of there. But Athena officially, Stokely Hathaway officially, both of them in AEW. Thoughts on Stokely? Thoughts on Athena?
Stokely's a perfect fit for Jade and the baddies. Automatically perfect. Like, it's as good a fit as you can get. Instantly, he was the person people wanted. It's fantastic. Automatically great. And Athena, long time coming. I think we all agree. If you want to make this women's division good, you add wrestlers like Athena. She proved on the indie scene that not only is her knee or Achilles? Achilles is healthy, but she's still very good. This is how you build a women's division, right? You now have added her. You've added Toni Storm. You've added these wrestlers, and you have Thunder Rosa, Serena Deeb. You need to make your division not. There's a very, very big tarp over your division right now, and it's holding them down. It's holding your division down, and we're gonna get to it in a few minutes. But this women's division has wrestlers that can make it good, and they utilized 3 of them tonight. I will count Jade because Jade's still green, but she's a star. You have to use Jade, right? She's an absolute star. You got to use her.
Yeah.
But I feel like the underutilization is ridiculous, and you're probably going to add at least a Candice LeRae in the future, if I had to guess.
Or just picking the wrong people.
All the time.
Yeah.
And that tarp that I'm talking about is the person that's picked every time. I understand she's over. I understand she's face of the division, whatever.
You can just say the name. You can say the name.
It's Britt Baker. But it's holding them back. It's holding them back. And move on. Athena's great. Stokely's great.
This is from the press release, not press release.
I saw what Punk said, who he wanted to face.
Oh, I didn't see that one. I'm talking about how someone brought up the Eric Bischoff thing about saying that CM Punk is not a draw, and in fact, the AEW's biggest money loser. Tony Khan cut off the guy and said, quote, "That's fucking bullshit," and then went on a tirade dropping F-bombs left and right. So
fuck.
I'm excited about that. What did CM Punk say?
So people asked CM Punk, who does he want to face at Forbidden Door? Kazuchika Okada, Hiroshi Tanahashi, and Will Ospreay. He didn't hold back on that one.
Of course. Well, who else would you want to face? Oh, I want to face Chase Owens. I want to face Yana. I want to face Taguchi. Like, who do you want to
face as AEW champion? Jungle Boy.
Nah.
Ricky Starks.
Yeah, baby.
Jon Moxley. And Bryan Danielson.
Of course.
So I want to ask you this question real quick before we move on in the show. And we're going to talk a lot about CM Punk later. So how quickly does Tony Khan book CM Punk versus Samoa Joe for the AEW World Championship? He's going to have to do it. He has to do it.
CM Punk. Yeah, he'll do it at some point. He'll do it at some point. I don't know when. I don't know how involved, how separated out Samoa Joe is from Ring of Honor and AEW. I still don't
Ring of Honor
understand
is not real.
I know, but when it eventually happens, maybe it will be real. I don't know.
Let's get sad now.
Yeah, so we'll
wait.
see.
Did it get worse or did it get a little bit better? It got a little bit better.
Oh, it got a lot better. What are you talking about?
Well, a great match with a nice lukewarm finish.
Yeah, so we got Death Triangle, Pac, Penta Obscuro, Rey Fenix, and Mini Penta versus House of Black, Brody King, Buddy Matthews, and Malachi Black. This match, they even said on commentary, Excalibur said on commentary that this match was going to be the match at Revolution. I don't think that was ever like confirmed on television or even announced at the time.
Yeah, they just like
so he just like straight up said like, "Yep, that was going to be the match," and then the injury held it off. So nice to know that here. And the match was great. This match was fantastic.
Yeah, it was so much fun.
Really, really good. I feel like if I watch it tomorrow, it might be able to scratch a 4 for me. Maybe scratch it.
Yeah.
Because at this point in the show, after watching 3, you can say 4.
Maybe it should have got it though after all the bad matches, because it was like, oh my god, they know how to wrestle. Holy shit!
This was 100% like the match that should have started the pay-per-view. I even tweeted out, I was like, remember when AEW started their stuff with exciting work rate matches?
Well, up to this point, the best match of the night was 10 power bombs.
I mean, yeah, but that was all the match was 10 power bombs.
That's my point. That's how bad the rest of the matches were. And it lasted as the number 2 for way too long.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, this match was great. I think Pac was fantastic. I mean, every single person was fantastic. Rey Fenix was great. Almost killed himself multiple times. Brody King almost killed himself multiple times. Scotty, as your hand is raised.
This goes again to my point of you just packed all your best wrestlers into 4 matches.
Mm-hmm.
Like, all these people should be TNT title challengers. I could believe some of them as world title challengers. But you know what? I'm happy we got it. It was that PWG-esque trios tag, crazy shit. I'm not even going to try to review it all. I just thought the finish was lukewarm and was not the payoff that I wanted, because I didn't care about it ever. Unlike everyone else, it's like, when are we going to get this moment? I didn't really want the moment. And I hope everyone's happy they got the moment.
Someone in the media scrum asked Punk to rank his Hangman match, and Punk was just like, "Yeah, I'm not. No." God, these reporters are dumb. Yeah. Anyways,
in the room.
I don't know. I only see Will Washington's name come up, so he's there, I guess. Meltzer asked a question at one point about the buckshot lariat botches. Punk
I think those actually. No, I'll get to it later.
Yeah. So the 6-man tag continues. A lot of great action, a couple botches here and there, but when it's that kind of work rate stuff, it's easy to like skip over mentally and you'll forget about it later. You know what I mean? There is a point, however, where Alex Abrahantes kind of runs interference. I don't know if this was on purpose for Alex Abrahantes, but Pac took the opportunity to low kick Malachi right in the balls. Head up to the top rope, lights go out, and when they come back on, Julia Hart is there, spits black mist into Pac's face, and House of Black then get the pin, with Malachi pinning Pac after a black mass. Julia Hart leaves with the House of Black.
Terrible commentary for the end of this match. They completely missed the low blow. They were talking about something else. They were like talking about Alex Abrahantes. I was like, JR, Pac just low blowed this guy and you just didn't even acknowledge it. You were just talking about something ridiculous. The match was great. Clearly, this Julia Hart thing was supposed to end at Revolution, obviously. Like, that's pretty much what I was told. I think that's why it lasted so long, of her just kind of being the odd person with an eye patch for 6 months.
Which would make sense. That all makes sense.
So it's like, okay, that makes sense. It's just I didn't care enough for that to ever have an answer. I never did. Like, Julia Hart with Brody King, Buddy Matthews, and Malachi Black. Make it make sense for me, though.
It makes sense for me. I'm just sort of like, all right, okay.
It's so random.
It's weird. It's weird.
There's history with everyone else.
My favorite part about the whole situation is that Julia Hart is the only one getting the push out of the Varsity Blondes group. So I think that's fun.
That's funny. Yeah, that's good. That's good. At least we had a good match, right?
Yeah, this match was fantastic. So this is definitely like it piqued my interest. And I was like, all right, let's get into it. Question. Let me pull it up here.
Oh, Sandre.
Yeah, Sandre Bjorn. He, she. I don't know who they.
It's he.
They. He.
I know Sandre, my guy. He listens to the show. Give him some respect.
Well, I don't know what their gender is, and I don't want to misgender them. Question. They asked 2 questions. Where do you guys see Death Triangle going? Or where do you see Death Triangle? Where do you see? It is 1:36 in the morning, Sandra. Where do you guys see Death Triangle moving forward?
Smash my heel. You can go first.
Okay, I'll go first then, because Scotty's dead. Well, immediately I wonder if this feud is going to continue because of the Julia Hart introduction into this situation. You know, I can see it having a couple more matches. Obviously, if that's the case, we already did the 6-man, so we will probably get a couple singles matches, which I am 100% on board for. And then maybe it'll culminate the next pay-per-view again with some sort of I don't know, Dante's Inferno 6-man match, which doesn't make any sense, but who cares?
I think Death Triangle has to break up soon.
Yeah, I think ultimately, once we get past that sort of situation, which I do think that we're going to continue this feud a little bit, once we get past that, you know, Death Triangle has been around since Revolution of 2020. It's been 2 years of them. Pac has been in and out of the company because Pac has been in and out of the company for COVID reasons. And then Phoenix has been in and out for injuries, and Penta has been in and out for injuries. You know, you can just keep them together and it'll be fine. And they'll just be constantly in and out and putting in matches and stuff and still putting on good stuff. I would like to see them separate, but at the same time, there's a bajillion people everywhere. And I don't know. The problem is when you put these people in factions for so long is that, you know, we don't really see Pac in like singles matches anymore.
That's where I want to see him.
Or fight in the singles division. I thought he would have been a great challenger for Adam Page. And maybe in another life where CM Punk and all these people don't show up, maybe he was the challenger for Adam Page. But that's not happening. So I don't know. I really don't know but I just know immediately I think we're just going to continue the House of Black feud.
That entire trio, excuse the yawn, I don't feel bad. That entire trio should be the TNT like title division.
Yeah, I think ultimately the you're saying the TNT title. Yeah, I see what you're saying. I thought you were going to say that they should be the trios champions. And I was like, yes.
Well, that too. I thought that for the longest time that they should have been the first ones, but we know what those titles are waiting for now. So it's like, whatever. It's just, I don't know, man. I don't know. I think Death Triangle should break up. I think Ryan's probably right. They'll continue this feud longer.
Which is fine because all those singles matches and all those rotations will be great.
I actually prefer it just so we get singles matches because for some reason the only person that gets singles matches is Phoenix, which again, not complaining, but you would think Pac would too. Like Pac had that great match with Dax Harwood that one random time last year. I think it was last year when he came back and they did it. And I was like, wow, this is great. It's almost like these two are good at wrestling. Maybe we should do this more. But yeah, I think Ryan's on to I think he's on to it. They'll probably continue the feud, which is fine. I don't care. They have to, actually.
Moving on to the Owen Hart Foundation Tournament Finals, both men and women's. First up was the men's, which was, of course, Adam Cole versus Samoa Joe, with Adam Cole getting the win with the boom. I thought I was okay with this match. I saw people not liking it online. I thought this match should have gone a little bit longer. I thought it was just a tad too short. It was just starting to get there for me. I thought it was good, solid. I gave it a solid 3, but it was just, if it went a little bit longer, which is a weird thing to say for a pay-per-view, if this match just went a little bit longer, I think it could have, got there more, and they were just about to get there before the match ended.
I agree. It felt like it stopped suddenly. Which I'm with you because I liked parts of it. I think Samoa Joe's looked really good, actually. in his past couple matches, which is a good sign, obviously, because I feel like Samoa Joe is a big question in ring wise. But I think he's figured out the way he wants to wrestle, and he looked good. Adam Cole, man, I love Adam Cole. I do. I like Adam Cole a lot, but he's just not clicking right now. He's just not. He was always going to win this, which is also what took away from the match for me, is there was no drama whatsoever. And then it just ended. So it's like, whatever. I can't care enough, but like, was this back-to-back run-ins?
Yeah, pretty much.
Like, come on, man. We don't want that many run-ins.
And
if you're going to do the run-in, why is it not Jay Lethal and company? Why is it Bobby Fish?
Because it's Undisputed Elite and all that stuff.
But that's the story you've been telling for months now.
Well, it's the story that you're talking about this Sanjay.
I don't like the story. Don't get me wrong. I hate the story. But like, if you're gonna do these run-ins, why don't you just do that one?
Yeah, I was okay with a Bobby Fish run-in because that's what the Undisputed E team has been like doing for years now. So I'm just like, yeah, it's gonna happen. Even Samoa Joe expected it. So I was just like, okay, I knew for a fact going into this match that was going to happen. This match was good. I thought it was completely serviceable.
I will say it was fine.
The CM Punk presser ended in the media scrum, and before he left, he just goes out of his way to ask specifically Dave Meltzer and Brian Alvarez if they have any more questions, and then they just kind of start asking him other questions. And everyone else is there. It's just CM Punk, Dave Meltzer, and Brian Alvarez talking to each other.
Amazing.
That's how much CM Punk hated these questions. Every other wrestling journalist in that room should be upset with themselves.
They were bad questions by the sounds of it.
Yeah, that's pretty. And the person who asked, somebody asked about the Forbidden Door stuff, that was Meltzer. So, we're doing pretty good here.
He asked the question I would have asked.
Oh yeah.
Let me in.
I think Dave just asked like, "What's next?" and CM Punk said, "Forbidden Door." The next presser seems to be with Jade Cargill. So
waiting for this light to turn green. I'm headed to work for a boss so mean. I'm gonna be late. She's gonna be.
There are some things we should do alone, like sing in your car.
If this light doesn't turn, I'm gonna scream.
But when you gamble, you should always do it with others, because gambling with friends helps keep things in check. So go to keepitfunohio.com for more tips like this. Keep it fun, keep it social, but you're singing? Maybe keep that to yourself.
Virginia is for eaters and drinkers. All kinds of eaters and drinkers. For oyster shuckers and slurpers. Winery samplers or all-day wine drinkers. Brewery hoppers and distillery sippers. For those who order grits and those who order cheese grits. We all know what the right way to order is. For barbecue triers who turn into finger lickers and meat off the bone suckers. All right, all this talk of food is making me hungry. I gotta go get some mac and cheese. Like I was saying, Virginia is for all sorts of food lovers. So come love it for yourself.
We'll see what she has to say for herself. Speaking about women's division, we also had the Owen Hart Tournament Finals women's match. It was Britt Baker versus Ruby Soho. Rich Ward of Fozzy played out Britt. And then Rancid played out Ruby Soho to the ring.
Dude, the concerts, man, they weren't needed. They were so long. The Rancid one was never ending. And my favorite part of it is when JR just at the end goes, Rancid. And I was like, he definitely fucking meant that as that sucked.
Look, you can dunk on Rancid all you want, but I'm gonna save me some stuff for Rich Ward. That man was shredding. That man was jamming. That man was into every single note he was playing, and I was there for it.
So funny. He just goes Rancid, and I'm like, yeah. Well, too bad the match was Rancid too. Everything about this stunk.
Yeah. I thought it was still good. For me, I thought it was good. I think this match got a lot more hate than the other one. I thought this match was better than their the first match.
I thought that was bad too, to be fair. So
yeah, I thought this match was better. I thought Soho stepped up a little bit better, which means to me that she's shaved off a lot of her rust, which is great.
Sharpshooter was bad.
Sharpshooter's bad, but I don't think she's ever done a sharpshooter before.
Had to get one in.
But you're also a wrestler, so every wrestler's done a sharpshooter before. Yeah.
It was bad.
It was what it was.
The women needed help. I will praise the one match that I feel they did service for the women's division. But again, the tarp, man, the tarp. There's a big tarp over this division, and she won the damn tournament. It feels wrong in some ways because she didn't need to win it. This was a tournament, I thought, where I understand it's the first one, so you want a big name, but why don't you make a name with it? Like,
yep,
the Owen Hart tournament has a lot of care to it. Obviously, a lot of people cared about it. A lot of people wanted to be in it. Yet, you used it to put over a guy that main evented
the last
pay-per-view, and the women who's the face of your women's division already, and has already been AEW Women's World Champion.
Two people that here's the thought. So I'll defend that for a quick second. Yes, I agree. They are both two people that don't need this. But if you're trying to establish this tournament, then you're taking the rub off those two people to apply to this tournament, which is sort of seemingly, now that I think about it, and after the post presser, I guess, I was like, oh, this is just their king and queen of the ring tournaments. That's what they're doing here.
Yeah.
And so I was like, they're trying to establish the name, the lineage of these.
Okay.
This sort of tournament.
But if they're getting, I don't know if they're getting title shots or anything. I don't know.
Seemingly not.
I have no idea.
Seemingly not.
But if they were, it would make negative sense.
Yeah.
It'd somehow make less sense than it made here. I just thought it under-delivered for what I was hoping for from this tournament. And don't get me wrong, tournament's awesome. The belts were really cool.
Yep.
The belts, to mirror the Stampede wrestling belts. I saw that on Twitter.
The cup, the Owen Cup.
The Owen Cup's cool. Martha speaking was awesome. All of that was awesome. It's just, you could have had a moment. You could have made someone. You could have had someone that you don't give that spotlight to enough.
Yeah.
Win. You could have had Dax have an underdog story to the finals. Maybe he doesn't win, but maybe you have that story.
Yeah.
Instead, you just kind of were like, okay, well, Samoa Joe said he wanted to be in it when he debuted, and Adam Cole has said he wanted to win it since he walked into the company. Mm-hmm. So there you go. There's your final. It's like,
yeah,
really? They didn't even put on the match that deserved. It was like the match does as much as the winner.
Yeah, I feel like this is next year we'll start getting some of that. That's what
I hope so. It felt like it was going to be that young up and comer tournament, and it just was. Never was.
And that's what I mean. I think this year was establishing the tournament. Next year was, we can build upon.
Sanjay asked a question about this, right?
Yes, Sanjay did. Let me pull this up. Which also, by the way, great presser with Martha Hart after the show, or after the two matches. She did a really great job. Sanjay also has the question: who, in your opinion, should have won the Owens? You kind of already alluded to this, is that you think it should have been a young and up and comer. Is there a specific person you would have thought would have been better in both the men and women's belt holders?
I think Chris Statlander, if she was in the original tournament, not entered in, but originally in the tournament, I think she would have been a great choice, because then you could use that win to get her that title shot for Jade's belt instead of doing it the way they did. Because obviously she's been around for a while, but she's never had that big win. That's a big win. And I think we can agree Chris Statlander is going to be a pretty important person for this division. That's why she kind of underwent this change. She kind of looks like a bigger star now, blah 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 blah. And then men's wise, like, you have an array of talent here, right? You have an array of talent.
Pick one.
You pick literally anyone you want. I just don't think it should have been a main eventer already. Like, he's already established. He walked into this company. He was a main eventer. I like Adam Cole. I said this, but I don't think he should have won. I don't. I don't think Samoa Joe should have won either, by the way. Like, if we want to talk about the people that were in, I don't think Jeff Hardy should have been in the semifinals. I think Kyle O'Reilly being in it, whatever, it was kind of weird. You have all this talent. Like a Ricky Starks. Mm-hmm. Ricky Starks didn't have a big win. He just got handed an FTW belt. That's what happened. Mm-hmm. Like, I feel like those could have been cool wins. And I understand, like, they don't have a connection to Owen Hart. Yeah, guess what? Adam Cole and Britt Baker don't either. So what's your point? They're just a couple.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, if this was a mixed tag tournament, it would have made sense.
That's what I mean. I think they're establishing the king and queen. They were like, the king and queen. And Martha was doing a whole thing about that. I was like, this is the king of the ring tournament. This is the queen of the ring tournament.
Except they're not going to get a title shot. And
yeah,
the titles will probably stay around for a week.
Yeah. Next up, a match that I know, again, Scotty loved. It was Frankie Kazarian, Sammy Guevara, and Ty Conti versus Ethan Page, Scorpio Sky, and Paige Van Zant. What did you think of Paige Van Zant's debut?
This is what I tweeted out. Aren't you supposed to put someone that's going to make a green wrestler wrestling their first match in there with them to make them look good? Isn't that what you're supposed to do? Right? If you have an athlete changing over to this, you want people that are going to guide them. None of these wrestlers were going to help guide Paige Van Zant. I'm sorry. It's just not going to happen. And Ty Conchi needs someone to guide her to a good match. Right? Her best match was what? Against Hikaru Shida, maybe? Like, that's for me. Paige Van Zant showed signs. She showed signs that she could be good. But she also showed she's very green, obviously, because this is her first match and she's figuring it out. She has potential. She had a nasty-looking Michinoku driver. That was cool. I popped for that. She had a good punch on Sammy Guevara, but I want her to do more. I want her to do more than Sammy Guevara if she's going to do that. I know you don't have a Natalya or someone in there, but it's like that. You need someone that's a veteran in there with her to make her look good.
That's my biggest thing about the women's division right now is, that's one of the reasons I don't really like the Athena signing, and how I've been kind of pushing against the idea of it, is because I see Athena similar to Ruby Soho. And my complaint about Ruby Soho is that I think
she's better than Ruby Soho.
Yes, but she may be better than Ruby Soho, but I don't think she elevates people necessarily. Like, I think that they wrestle to the opponent's ability, and doesn't necessarily.
I don't know if you put Athena in there with Paige Van Zant over Ty Conchi. I think Paige Van Zant looks a lot better.
That might be true. And Ty Conchi has been wrestling for 6 years, so I don't think she's the ring generalship as you thought she did. I don't know.
People love her. People think she's like should go to like Stardom and be the star.
We should also remember that originally that was going to be Brandy Rhodes. So I think we should take
that continues my point. What were we doing?
Take the grace that we have, that we were given. This could have been worse.
What are we doing? What is your cat doing? That's a better question. Absolutely wrecking shit.
They're just knocking things over.
1:54 a.m. Come on, cat. Chill out.
They want to go to bed in our bed. So they're acting all Mikey Ruckus over here.
Yeah. Paige didn't necessarily look great, but I also just blame the whole situation.
No, I don't think
the match sucked.
I don't think Paige has it. I don't think Paige Van Zant has it.
No, I think Paige absolutely has it. I don't think she's going to want it, though. I think there's a difference. I think she has it athletically if she wants it, but I think she's going to get sick of it very quickly and move on from it.
You know who does have it? Junior Dos Santos. Let's bring him back.
Like, I think it's unfair to say she doesn't have. She's only like 28. I think she could have it if she wanted it. But I don't think she wants it.
Well, when I say she doesn't have it, it's because that she is an athlete. right? She is an athlete. Athletes, to me, getting into this business have a higher bar. Like it's like what Cody Rhodes says about second generation, third generation superstars, wrestlers, is that they're starting at second base, third base, and they just have to get to home. Athletes start at first base. They have a leg up than some other people.
I really think you're undermining how much Ty Conti wasn't going to help the situation.
That's probably also fair.
Like, you need a wrestler in there that you consider good, or someone that's going to be willing to ragdoll around with an athlete like that. Like Ronda Rousey, when she debuted, don't get me wrong, Ronda Rousey's a better overall athlete than Paige Van Zandt. She had a lot more success for a reason, but she had Stephanie McMahon, right? Stephanie McMahon was willing to ragdoll around, and she had Triple H. She ragged out Triple H too. No offense, Sammy Guevara, Frankie Kazarian's a vet, but he didn't do anything at all with Paige Van Zandt. And Ty Conti, it's like, what are we doing? It's just, I had so little interest in this match anyways. So just like her not being good didn't help either.
Plus, watching the match, man, I don't know. You know, I'm not sure if I should, if I'm supposed to cheer or boo Sammy Guevara and Ty Conti. You know, I just don't know. You know, it's like, you know, it's like, are they good guys? Are they bad? They're doing bad things, and they're dressing bad, and they're purposely not helping their tag team partner, and they're being
they seem pretty heel to me.
I just am unsure. I feel like I'm supposed to cheer for them because I liked them a month ago, and now I don't. So, you know, I don't know. Maybe
that's the biggest problem. There was no one to cheer. There was no one to cheer in this match.
So I saw someone, I believe it was, I want to say it was Trevor Dame on Twitter, tweeted it out.
I can believe it.
This entire pay-per-view felt weird. It felt like an AEW pay-per-view. Lots of debuts, pretty good matches, yada, yada, yada. Hit all the milestones, hit all the boxes. But it was missing a lot of heat. There was a lot of stuff where it was just like everyone was just kind of cheering for everybody in some way. And then the only heat really came into this match where everyone was booing for everybody. So it was just sort of like, or rather, not with Frankie Kazarian. He wasn't really getting cheers. You know, no one really knew what they were doing. Everyone was just kind of part of like, oh, it felt like watching an indie show in that sense of just like, oh yeah, I'm kind of just supporting everybody, and that's kind of how it is. There wasn't like, besides MJF, who was like overtly booing, but we were booing him for other reasons, not what was happening in the match. So it was just the whole pay-per-view kind of had that cloud, a whole around the whole thing. Let's move on here. Next up was, I swear there was like another thing that happened in between here. Maybe it was
they talked about Forbidden Door like 7 times, but this is where the show turns around, baby.
Yes, Darby Allin versus Kyle O'Reilly.
This match had no right to be on this pay-per-view, by the way.
It had no right being on the pay-per-view.
It was good though, so
but I'm glad it was. And in hindsight, maybe we should have thought about it more of like, both of these guys don't care about hurting the other person or hurting themselves. They're just going to go out there and do stupid shit. And
they did stupid shit.
That's the best kind of wrestling, I think.
Yeah, stupid shit was good shit.
Yeah, this match was fantastic. I thought Darby Allin obviously nearly killed himself with whatever that, like, the pinwheel suicide dive mistake box that he had.
Yeah, it ended up looking really cool, even though it was absolutely not on purpose.
It was like a suicide dive like kick.
Yeah. It was not on purpose. This was the best Kyle O'Reilly match since Finn Balor, probably.
Yeah. That's probably true. That is probably true.
He looked like Kyle O'Reilly. He looked vicious. Darby looked like he was vicious. Like,
yep.
By the end of this match, it looked like Darby Allin got his ass kicked, and it's because he did.
Yep.
Really, really solid. Definitely past expectations, because no one had any going into this. They were like, whatever.
Yeah.
And
plus Darby Allin connected the coffin drop onto the apron onto Kyle. So that's immediate extra star for me.
Yeah. And O'Reilly did the Shibata, the sleeper into the penalty kick.
Yes.
He did it like 3 different times, but he did it. And that was cool. And then he won, which was shocking.
Oh, yeah. Kyle O'Reilly wins. Clean. Diving knee drop to the kidneys onto Darby.
The tag team guy.
The tag team guy got the win. So it is this meta story that they are telling where the sports entertainers, the former WWE guys, they're all getting the wins on this show. You know, Adam Page, his whole thing being like, I don't want these people in my company. A lot of them won. It felt very. Maybe that's what the show. Maybe the show felt very Hammerstein in that way. It's like maybe put over some of your homegrown a little bit. I don't know.
Hey, Wardlow won, baby.
Wardlow won. So that's definitely true.
Jade Cargill won, baby.
I guess that's true.
They also both faced homegrown talent.
Serena Deeb versus Thunder Rosa for the AEW Women's World Champion.
I saw so much love for this match, which was cool. Awesome. Love it. Great for them. I thought it was good. I think it was much more than that because I thought some parts were a little congested. I thought there was some parts that just didn't flow, but then there were parts that I really liked. Like when they were in the figure 4 and they were slapping the shit out of each other. That was great. There were other points in the match where they were just flowing well. It was a very congested match. It didn't have perfection at all. It didn't get to that next gear in terms of like, wow, that was great. Like it didn't get to 4-star range at all for me. It's in the middle of the pack ultimately for the show, but it's on the better half of matches. It's a match that the women's division desperately needed after the first 2 earlier in the night. That's for sure. Deeb's very solid. Thunder Rosa, I enjoy. Good. It was a good first defense. First defense.
No, second defense. Her first defense was Battle of the Belts 2.
Oh, right. Second defense, which I like that. I actually like that too.
Yeah. I think this match, we kind of had higher expectations for it, and whereas this match wasn't bad, it just, I don't think it necessarily met those, and that's I think on ourselves.
Yeah.
But otherwise, it's a pretty good match.
Though.
Yeah, it was a very solid match. Of course, Thunder Rosa wins with the Fire Thunder driver. Great finish. Crowd was slightly disconnected because they thought it was going to be an Eddie Guerrero tribute spot, but they forgot that this wasn't WWE. So
they also were tired as hell.
Yes, so she just went straight into the Fire Thunder driver, and good on her. But good, hard hitting. I think I would like to see a trilogy out of these 2 women.
I'd like to see at least a rematch, at least. Because I think it would be a situation where the more they wrestle, the better they get against each other.
Oh, 100%. And I think that is something that they should continue doing. And I would be open to it. TK, I would be open to it.
But she won clean.
She did win clean. So I don't know how you're going to do it, but you'll figure it out, I'm sure. That's not my job. My job is to review what you did. Blackpool Combat Club versus the Jericho Appreciation Society in the Anarchy in the Arena match, aka this wasn't
2/3 of the Blackpool Combat Club.
Yes, this wasn't an Anarchy in the Arena match. We should be clear. It was also the taping of the music video for Wild Thing. And I think it came out. I think we'll get the edits, guys. I think we might do some a touch of color correction, but otherwise we'll have it on Vivo or whatever the fuck the YouTube channel is called.
Out. I was like, I hope they leave the music on because I was joking. I thought they were just going to shut it off, and they're like, oh my god, they're leaving the music on. I was like, I was kind of kidding.
It wrapped around. It's so good.
Yeah, the crowd popped when it came back on. This match was nuts, huh? I called it plunder in the place because I was like, Anarchy in Arena, sure, but this was just plunder and plunder and plunder and plunder, but it's one of the best plunder matches you'll see. It had 1 million chapters. Kevin Dunn would have been proud of how it was aired because The problem with these matches, right, is when you're doing them live on like Stadium Stampede, is that I'm not going to get to see everything, obviously, because there's going to be moments where these people are doing things and you have to switch back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So that's the only bad part about this. Otherwise, it was fantastic. Eddie Kingston, when that man was walking down the ramp with the gas can all bloodied up, I was like, this is the coolest visual
that was like
I've seen.
That was a horror movie moment.
Yeah, he looked amazing. Bryan Danielson in his closing, he made Jake Hager look like a good wrestler. That was an accomplishment. It's almost like he's like the best in the world or something. He's also really good.
Is it weird to think that Jake Hager is an AEW original? Isn't that weird to think about?
It is weird because I honestly forget he's part of the roster at all times.
Yeah.
Eddie Kingston made Matt Menard a bloody soul.
Holy shit! And a mustard soul.
I was having a problem. The only problem, like legitimate problem I had was like, why is Eddie Kingston and Jericho not the thing here? Like, why are obviously they played to it in the end, which is the reason why they did it. But I was like, the whole entire build to this was these two hate each other. And all I've seen is John Moxley and Chris Jericho beat each other up, which is great. They were great together. But it's like, I'm confused. Santana and Ortiz did the ladder thing and took them out. What's their names?
Yep. In 2.0. They also did the other table spot of Jake Hager, which was the street sweeper, I believe it was.
Yes, Daniel Garcia was there. I think
he was popping all over the place.
He did that pile driver though on the stairs. That was cool.
That was sick. It was. Chris Jericho is now in the media scrum. He sort of the first thing he does is acknowledge Dave, and Dave asks questions. The first thing they do, they just want to go out there and talk to Dave. That's it. Who gives a shit about Denise Salcedo and Will Washington? But they let me talk to Dave and Brian.
Hey,
what?
I like them. That's mean.
I'm not saying dunk. I'm not dunking on them. Chris Jericho and CM Punk are dunking on them.
That's true.
He said that he puts over the production team because they wanted to come up with something that with the Stadium Stampede spirit, but in the arena where fans could see it. And I think the production team did a good job. It was a little too hectic, but it was ultimately I was able to follow it, so it was fine. It was a good hectic. It was a very good hectic.
It was fantastic. It was a legitimately fantastic match. It just obviously you wish you could have saw everything. You wish you didn't have to have 1,075 camera cuts at all times to try to see everything, but it was great. It was great. They brawled everywhere. What a cool experience it must have been because you got to see a little bit of everything. It was great. It was. I think at one point, I have no idea what my match of the night is, but it's in the running. It's in the running. I'll tell you that.
These last three are all in the running for me.
The semi-main event was in it, and then the finish happened, and I got set.
Yeah, and of course the finish here was for this match was Walls of Jericho. Bryan Danielson was about to stomp in Chris Jericho's face. Hager comes out with Floyd the Bat, attacks his Bryan Danielson's left knee. Jericho then puts him in the Walls of Jericho, which I always thought affected the back and not necessarily the legs. But as that was happening, Hager chokes him out with the cable from the ropes, and then Danielson just is knocked out. So I thought that was a fantastic, smart finish. Very good job.
They used that wacky injury to their advantage.
Exactly.
That they did with the ring. Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Danielson was so good at this. In the end.
It was very, very good. After the match, I believe, after the match, I want to talk about this. We get a video of Andrade El Idolo and Jose.
I was on the edge of my seat. I was like, oh my God, they're going to do it. Oh my God, they're going to do it. Oh my God, they're going to do it.
Talking about the top wrestler in the world. A knock at the door ensues. I see a white suit, and I'm like, all right, baby. Naito is in AEW. Forbidden Door. I saw the white suit, and I was like, here we go. Forbidden Door hype. Let's get into it. Knock, knock, knock. The door opens. It's Roosh.
Yeah, I popped for Roosh.
I deflated for Roosh. Let's go.
Oh, well, that's because you thought it was Naito, because that's insane.
I also don't like Roosh.
You don't like Roosh?
I don't like Roosh. In the whole Ring of Honor run, did not like Roosh one bit.
Really?
I don't like Roosh.
I think Roosh is great when he's on.
Love his brother.
Well, that's more so why I got excited. I was like, oh my God, there's a chance. I think Roosh
that's what I saw. Everyone was excited seeing Roosh because they were like, that means we can have Dragon Lee. And I was like, yeah, but what about Roosh, guys? Are you excited actually about Roosh?
I like Roosh when he's on. I think he's very good. You can't talk about Ring of Honor. He was put in there to be their world champion against Matt Taven. Like, leave him alone.
And Dalton Castle.
Okay, furthering my point, like, it's not like he was wrestling like these superstars. His best match was against Bandito.
Superstars, he did wrestle PCO and lose the title to PCO.
He did? He put PCO over. That was the dumbest decision. He had that good match with Bandito when they came back.
That is true. He did have that good match with Bandito. We were talking about it in the Discord, and we definitely feel like this match or this reveal of Roosh being in AEW, seemingly, you didn't get a graphic, I don't think, but he's seemingly
he'll leave.
AEW.
Don't worry, he'll fake an injury or something.
Yeah. Presumably, this kind of sets it up as it feels like it's going to be a tag team, Andrade and Roosh. So I think that would be a better spot to put Roosh in. If it's
a great spot for Andrade.
Yes, it's a great spot for Andrade.
That's probably why I was more excited.
Yeah, I think if it's a tag team, I think it can work, and I'm excited to see what can come out from that. We then get a backstage.
If Dragon Lee shows up, you give me those TM Trios titles tomorrow, Tony Khan.
Please, baby. And then we got to get Bestia Del Ring.
Don't give him any ideas.
Dan Lambert, Man of the Year, an interview backstage, and basically Scorpio has an open challenge for the TNT Championship in a sense for SoCal, either on Wednesday or the week after. I think the week after. Dante Martin accepts it, so we're gonna see Dante Martin versus Scorpio Sky for the TNT title. So get ready for that.
It might be next week. I don't care, by the way. I'm kind of over the Dante Martin thing.
To be fair, I don't think it would be happening if his brother didn't get in.
Yeah, I wish his brother wasn't hurt.
Whatever incident that happened. Triple threat tag team match for the world titles, for the AEW world titles. It was Jurassic Express defending and retaining those titles against Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland, and Team Taz, Ricky Starks, and Powerhouse Will Hobbs. This match was great.
It lost a quarter from me.
That's why I'm also at 4 stars of this match, because I'm like 4 1/4, but
it stayed at 4. It was 4 1/4 until the end.
Yes. So let's talk about that ending. So the ending is a lot of back and forth. This match was really, really great. A lot of back and forth. We got the heavies involved. We got the heavies doing crazy shit. Popping off on big tag team finishers, getting broken up at the very last second. Then Shane Strickland does the boot, the double stomp, Poison Frankenstein, whatever, all that jazz. But then Jurassic Express, they grab, I believe it is Strickland, do the little spinny Maju and pin the guy 1, 2, 3, and win.
I was legitimately angry when the Swerve Keith Lee powerbomb stomp was broken up. I was legitimately angry.
I think it was by Hobbs, right? I think it was by Hobbs.
I was so angry because I was like, yes, finally, we got new champions. That match was great. And then they broke it up. And I was like, no. And then Ricky Starks, the guy with the belt, and I was like, yeah, we're gonna have them as champions. That's cool. That works for me. And then Ricky Starks got taken out by Christian. I was like, you motherfucker. I was really upset in the end. This match was fantastic. It was fantastic, but it lost so much of its luster when 1, 2, 3, Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus are still champions. I think that happened to everyone on social because everyone was like, why? Like, no one was talking about how good the match was. Everyone was like, why? Why are they still champion?
Yeah. Everyone wanted the titles to change. No one cared who, they just wanted the titles to change.
No, they had both good options. And 2 pay-per-views in a row, you had them beat 2 good tag teams.
I don't know.
Someone asked me, is it going to be Moxley and Danielson? I said, I mean, if it is, I hope they squash them.
Yeah. My thing is, look, if you finally have some stories and stuff for Jurassic Express, then great. I'm okay with it. If you don't, then change the titles to the guys you are actually trying to tell stories with and push and all that jazz, who probably need it more. Well, they don't really need it. Shane Strickland and Keith Lee don't really need it. Starks and Hobbs, they could use it. It'd be great for them.
They should have had it, though. What are you going to do with Swerve and Keith Lee? They're not going to do anything with them.
Because that's the other thing. Team Taz, they're fine. The FTW title, that's still a thing, so they're okay.
They have Hook.
They're fine. Keith Lee and Strickland, where do they go from here? They're just going to challenge again at some point, or they'll break up as a tag team. And I don't necessarily know if people really want to do that, so
I'm enjoying it, so no.
Yeah.
Like, why do we have it was such a letdown. I wanted them to win so bad. They could have had a really good reign.
They could have.
Instead, the Hardys are like, someone's going to win. It's just going to be terrible.
Oh, I forgot it will be the Hardys, because they did announce for the upcoming Dynamite a 10-man tag, Undisputed Elite versus the Hardy Boys, Christian, and Jurassic Express. And I was like, oh, yeah, that.
Ryan's going to hate watch that the entire time. He's going to be like, I hate this. I hate everyone involved in this match. It's going to be the angriest he's ever been for an AEW title match.
Totally. And now let's talk about the main event. It was Hangman Adam Page versus CM Punk, with the not big shocker, but definitely a surprise nonetheless. CM Punk pinning Adam Page after a very emotional moment in the ring with Adam Page. CM Punk wins and is your new AEW World Champion.
Sorry, fell asleep. Yeah, I love this match. I really do. I have no idea what to rate it. I still have yet to put a number on my match guide. I don't know how to rate it. I have a lot of emotions from it. It starts off them just trading chops. I'm like, oh, this is for me. This match is for me, baby. Like they're doing everything. They had a great match. Some people are gonna be like, well, you know, he messed up the buckshot lariat, but I was like, I don't care. I don't give a shit. The first one definitely didn't matter because Hangman just picked him up and did move or whatever. The second one was like, okay. So he couldn't do it.
Yeah. The second Excalibur wrote, I think it was Excalibur, wrote off that he couldn't. He just was like, oh, he just can't do the buckshot.
He thought he was too good for it. He thought he was too good to do it. Mm-hmm. He just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And
it became part of the story of the match.
And there's the exhaustion from the match. He's, they're 15, 20 minutes in compared to last time when he did it to John Silver and the match was 10 minutes total. Mm-hmm. Or not even. It was probably shorter. I loved this match. I thought the storytelling was great. I thought the crowd going back and forth between who they wanted to see win was great. At one point, Hangman Page walked out and he was the one getting booed.
Yes.
And by the middle, he was getting cowboy shit chants.
Yeah, it was crowd was very interesting. They definitely were number 3 on the call sheet for this match.
Yeah, they swayed back and forth. They didn't know how to feel. And I think a lot of us did it. I did in the end because CM Punk won and I felt like a little kid again. It felt like a little kid in the sense that I remember having that feeling in 2011 where CM Punk won the WWE Championship and I was like, holy crap.
Yeah.
And now it's kind of like all these years later, I didn't think he was even going to be back in wrestling. And now I get to watch this guy be great again. and win the AEW World Title. Think of it a year ago, like CM Punk beating Hangman Page at Double or Nothing in Las Vegas.
CM Punk returning to wrestling after years of being away, and then eventually beats Adam Page for the title.
Yeah.
Lovely. Now let's talk about that. Let's talk about that finish, the finish, which was, of course, Hangman Page tuning up the band in a weird way. Buckshot Lariat gets countered. CM Punk picks him up, knocks over Paul Turner. Page gets out of it. Lariat. Everybody's out. Hangman looks over, sees the title in the corner.
I thought,
eyes wide like a crazed maniac.
I thought the swerve was going to be Punk using it.
Yeah, that would have been fun. I
was like, that would have been great, because then you would have just put all that heel heat on him. I still like the way they did it.
I like how AEW doesn't always do a turn, and that the swerve is not doing something.
Yes.
Which makes me, because it brings up questions. It makes me wanting more because it brings up questions. It's not like, oh, I know Hangman Adam Page is heel. It's, well, he considered it greatly and was steps away from using it, and then he lost it. So I really want to know how he's going to react to this. So he picks it up. He staggers over to it. He picks up the title. He considers going to hit Punk in the face with it as the ref is down. He decides against it, goes for the buckshot, staggers on the buckshot lariat a little bit because of the leg injury sustained during the match, which was a great through line. I always love those through lines. Fireman carry, Turner's up, go to sleep. CM Punk is your new AEW World Champion in a very long pinfall that just also sold the go to sleep as well. Holy crap. What a moment.
What a moment. I love the desperation of Hangman Page. Like, I love that.
It feels like we're watching the fall of the Hangman.
Yeah, it's the fall of it's the fall of what he tried to avoid for so long, because he worked so hard to make AEW his company, right?
Yep.
And this outsider, this guy that I wrote about this week, is since the moment AEW was announced, everyone said, "Oh, is CM Punk going to be a part of it? Is CM Punk going to return to wrestling and be a part of this?" While Hangman's the guy at the very first press conference, "I'm going to be AEW World Champion. I'm going to put this company on my back." And all people were saying was, "Oh, is CM Punk going to show up here or here in those first big pay-per-views?" Right? You had Double or Nothing. Is CM Punk going to be the big surprise here at the end of the night? It was Jon Moxley. At the end of All Out, is CM Punk going to be the big surprise?
Mm-hmm.
These are two big moments in Hangman Page's career.
Yep.
He wins the Casino Battle Royal to get that shot, then he loses the title match, and all people care about is CM Punk.
Yep.
Fast forward, Hangman Page gets there. He gets his moment. He is on top of the world. The crowd is behind him. He went from undesirable to undeniable. Shout out Cody Rhodes, baby. He did that. He legitimately did that. People didn't want to see him when he was in that AEW World Title match. They didn't want to see him win. Chris Jericho was getting cheered. They didn't care about Hangman Page.
Yeah.
He shifted it in his favor. And then when he's on his run to become AEW World Champion, who walks back in the company? CM Punk.
Not just in the company, but in professional wrestling.
Who becomes the story while Hangman Page was off having a kid? Because he was supposed to, a lot of us thought, oh, All Out's where he'll win the title.
Yep.
Nope. But while he's out, CM Punk enters the stage. CM Punk is here now. Who's the face of the company? Who's the face of AEW?
Mm-hmm.
It's CM Punk, because no one's bigger right now than CM Punk. Hangman Page goes on. He wins the title. He did it. He takes on one of the guys that walked in at All Out, Bryan Danielson. He beats him twice.
Yep.
Fair and square. But during that time, what's the feud everyone's talking about? CM Punk versus MJF. What's the story in AEW? It's something with CM Punk. So it makes sense why Hangman Page wants to protect AEW, his AEW, from CM Punk. And it's because AEW has become CM Punk's. You get to this story, you get to that desperation moment where he's like, man, I'm second guessing myself. Can I do this? Can I stop him? Mm-hmm. Right? Because he's the legend here. He's the great. Can I stop him? And I need to stop him by any means necessary. Going to consider that belt.
Am I willing to go past that line?
Right. After a great physical, exhausting match, maybe my favorite AEW match of the year, just on a selfish point because of how special it was and the way they told the story and the way they did it. It felt personal from start to finish. And he says, no, I'm going to win the way I've always won. But by then, you waited too long, buddy. You gave CM Punk time. CM Punk has a picture-perfect reversal. GTS, referees back up. 1, 2, 3. CM Punk is your AEW World Champion, and Hangman Page is sit there looking at the stars as one, not only the shortest reigning AEW champion of all time, but now the guy in question looking forward. Because who's the face of AEW officially? CM Punk.
Yeah.
Hell of a story. Hell of a main event. I called it the biggest AEW main event match in history. Was it the best? Probably not. But was it up there? I think so, at least for AEW world title matches.
And we sort of talked about it in the past of like why I thought CM Punk is a good person. Put it on is, storyline wise, I think it's interesting for Page to lose here, but also business wise, it's just the right move. I mean, CM Punk, as sort of Tony Khan had in that F-bomb diatribe, CM Punk is a huge money draw in this company, consistent draw in this company. His debut pay-per-view was the biggest pay-per-view buys of the company's history. Tony Khan is saying in this media scrum that based off of early projections, he thinks this is going to beat that record, this pay-per-view, meaning that CM Punk is even more a money mover. And if you put the world title on him, show him up on TV, people are going to pay attention. He's still a very famous person in the world of professional wrestling, so he's going to get more eyes on your product, presumably. Page did a great job. Page did a fantastic job getting people over into it. People are into the story, but ultimately, business-wise, this is the right decision, and it's something that I don't disagree with whatsoever in that sense. It is something that you should do, is do what's best for business. What was best for business is by putting the title on your undeniably biggest star in the company, the face of the company, as it were.
Yep. And there's so many directions to go now. I think Hangman Page was a great world champion. I do. I think he was a great world champion. He's going to be the first ever 2-time world champion, probably.
Agreed.
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe Kenny Omega babyface, but probably not. I think it should be Hangman Page. He's going to do it all. He's going to be fine. He's going to be back. Now you have a no story to tell with him where that doubt creeps back in that got him to where he was, right? And now you have an entire new way to go with CM Punk. You have so many different directions to go, and you have a certain event in Chicago, Illinois in a month that is AEW versus New Japan. You have a lot of ways to go there. Obviously, you're probably going to have the Chicago boy in the main event. It's going to be special. It's going to be really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And
now it's if the rumor holds true, CM Punk versus Okada in that main event, you have world title. Get ready, baby. Politics in order, or we're gonna get a 60-minute draw, or the title's not even on the line, and it's even more interesting. A lot of fun stuff on the horizon.
Could see CM Punk beating Okada.
That just the idea of that match existing is right around the corner, Scotty.
I know. That would be the biggest match since like...
That would be like in 2010, it'd be like 2013 when everybody was making like those fantasy booked AEW versus New Japan. Not sorry, AEW. WWE versus
if you did
New
Cena
Japan
versus
cards.
Tanahashi.
Yeah, it was Cena versus Tanahashi. Then it would be like Okada versus CM Punk. And then we're actually going to get it in real life.
Yeah. That's crazy.
And that's
crazy.
And that's AEW Double or Nothing, people.
Holy shit. Rate the show out of 10. You had high highs and you had minuscule lows.
I'm not going to do any decimals. I'm not going to be a baby.
No.
I'm not going to be a baby and do decimals. I'm just going to say like a 7. I'm going to say 7.
Those last 3 matches saved that ass.
Yeah. It was because it's the last 3 matches. The Darby Allin match was pretty good. The Thunder Rosa Serena Deeb was pretty good.
Yeah.
The House, the 6-man tag, House of Black and Death Triangle was really good, and I thought the Owen matches were good. So otherwise, I thought I gave it a 7. What did you give it?
7's probably the way to go. I think 6 is too low because of how high those last couple matches were.
Pretty high.
Yeah, I can't go higher than a 7.
It's tough.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see if there's any other fun bits of information from the media scrum that was happening. That would be a big talking point. Tony Khan is asked about MJF. And he...
1 second. Sandre said the last 2 hours of the show is amazing, but we should remember the early part being a drag. Oh, I sure will, my guy. I sure will.
Yes.
What do we get, Tony Khan MJF?
He says, and I quote, he will not comment on the MJF situation. So, nothing on that front. I'm glad someone asked. Someone has to ask.
Yeah.
But apparently, he's making no comments about MJF. So we'll see. I guess. No comments is all the comments I need, buddy. Ooh, we got the match order for Best of Super Juniors block finals as well. That also got released. Oh, I thought you were gonna hit me with like we got the. No, that's everything you would think. Anyways, so that is it for this review of AEW Double or Nothing. It is currently 2:32 in the morning for Scotty and I. We're dead inside and out, but we're glad we were able to share our thoughts with AEW with you all. Thank you for subscribing to the podcast feed. If you have not yet, make sure you subscribe to Ring Post Radio wherever you get podcasts. If you enjoyed what you heard, leave a 5-star review. It greatly helps us, and all it takes is like barely a minute out of your day to do so, and make some kind words. If you leave some kind words, maybe we'll say them on the show at some point. I don't know. I've been Ryan Knightsey. You can follow me on Twitter at Ryan Knightsey. You can follow the whole show at CountOutPod on Twitter as well. We also got a Facebook page for CountOutPod as well. We got a lot of stuff coming in the pipeline, so we're excited about that. But I gotta get going because Scotty is literally falling asleep on the Zoom call, and I do not. I am alive. I just want to go to bed. I'm so stupidly tired, Scotty. I have to work tomorrow. Really? Why are you doing this? I work the night shift. Oh, okay, you're fine. Scotty, where can people find you? Follow me at Scotty Russ on Twitter. I don't give a shit about anything else. CM Punk's world champion. That's what we're celebrating tonight and tomorrow. That's true. And the next day. For the people hovering, for the few people that were hovering on my match guide, if you listen to this, I am sorry that I did not deliver a rating for that last match. I have a lot of emotions right now, and most of them are go to sleep. Haha! See what I did there? Pew-pew! With CM Punk. Nice. Nailed it. Goodbye. This has been a Count Out Podcast.
buried treasure here. How did you know?
There always be treasure in the independent waters, matey.
Why don't more people come here for their hunt for treasure, Captain?
It'd be a hard one to find, but if you want to make it easier to find, tune into Independent Waters on the Count Out Network.
Every Wednesday with your hosts, me, Zach Batista.
And me, Mikey Manfredi.
As we take you through the independent wrestling scene and find the treasure buried beneath the surface.
Whether you're new to indie wrestling or have been watching for years, this show is for you.
That's Independent Waters every Wednesday on the Count Out Network.
See you there, landlubbers.
Waiting for this light to turn green. I'm headed to work for a boss so mean. I'm gonna be late. She's gonna be...
There are some things we should do alone, like sing in your car.
If this light doesn't turn, I'm gonna scream.
But when you gamble, you should always do it with others, because gambling with friends helps keep things in check. So go to keepitfunohio.com for more tips like this. Keep it fun, keep it social, but your singing? Maybe keep that to yourself.
Introducing Under Armour's Infinity High Sports Bra. Its ergonomic design is molded to support the natural movement of your body. With cord-out padding, the better breathability eliminates extra bulk without sacrificing support. And quick-dry padding is Under Armour's fastest-drying padding yet. When you're lifting heavy, running fast, and pushing yourself further than ever before, you need a bra that will help you go that extra mile and make you feel your best. Shop the Infinity High Sports Bra now at UA.com.